When I get on my horse and start up the creek and start up the North Fork of the Blackfoot or into the Danaher or over Statler Pass, golly, that's a great feeling. And I can look out over that country and really understand, almost understand what life is really all about.
I've traveled around the world a few times, and I've seen mountains in Europe and Asia and South America. I've seen the Andes. I've traveled all over the United States. There's no place in the world I love as much as this place right here.
I guess I've always been seeking, that great American next step or another frontier. It's the landscape, obviously, the resources here, the beautiful water, mountains obviously appeal. I really like the people, agriculture, and mixed with a variety of recreational aspects and small town atmosphere. So it was a very appealing place for me to be, and of course it was a great place to raise 4 kids.
There's not a whole lot of places like this, and not just the North Fork, but basically the whole crown of the continent, the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem.
They didn't have any laws that regulated any kind of sedimentation. So the problem was they could do their mining, and the fallout from their mining could run down 2 small streams, Sage Creek and Cabin Creek, right into the North Fork of the Flathead River, and the North Fork would carry it down to Flathead Lake, which would be essentially a settlings pond for this big open mine coal development. So people around here became greatly alarmed about that.
I joined up with what was then called the Flathead Coalition, which was a citizen-based group that was working with Canadians to try to see to it that coal mining would not occur. We were quite familiar with, and that's where my background in mining came in, quite familiar with the mining north of there, up in the Elk River Valley, and we sure as hell didn't want to see that happen in the North Fork.
Pretty much across the community and the political environment in the state of Montana, everyone was concerned about what the impacts of that proposed coalfield development would mean for our water quality and fisheries and sort of the entire watershed as a whole.
Sometimes in life, the answer to something is yes. Sometimes the answer to something is no. Sometimes the answer is, well, let's see if we can work it out. For me, the answer to whether we should develop North Fork of the Flathead was a flat no. Big, flat, and I'm not going to allow it. I'll do whatever I can possibly do to prevent any oil and gas coal development in the North Fork of the Flathead River, because that would clearly pollute the basin.
Just recently, we've been extremely heartened by the fact that we've got both the sole Republican and both Democrats in our congressional delegation, who for the first time all three have been on board.
Efforts to protect the North Fork watershed, like the North Fork Watershed Protection Act, is a good example of how we can work together to put Montana first. That's why I'm introducing legislation to protect this valuable resource while also ensuring that current recreational uses, livestock management, and forest management in this region is maintained.
Conservation has been a partisan issue in Montana. I think members of Congress are increasingly criticized for their inability to reach common ground on anything. And so the Montana congressional delegation has, I think, been actively looking for ways that they can come to agreement. And this is one they found.
I'm Reed Gregerson. I'm the president of the Zane Ray Group, which is, we're a digital agency here in Whitefish. I think it's the fact that we do have places like the North Fork or a glacier right out our door that make us who we are. And anyway, that directly benefits us. It benefits us in the people that we can get to work here, as well as retention, etc. And, bottom line is our clients actually like to visit us here too. The reason why we're here, or the reason why we can get the great people that work for us, is because of where we are. So
that economic development in Montana is moving more and more toward recreation. It's about a $6 billion industry in Montana. Backpacking, hunting, fishing, outfitting, you name it. It all is providing more income for Montana than before. And it's, I think, a trend that makes good sense for our state.
Recreation is an industry that you reap a harvest of every year. You don't have to replant it. You don't have to fertilize it. And you don't have to recreate it. It's something that you can reap a benefit from it. And it isn't just the outfitters by a long shot. It's a lot of other people that benefit from it.
You look at what tourism does and recreation and just basically having a clean environment. And I think Montanans have a real strong, we live and work here, and we do depend on resources for a lot of our livelihood, but I think we still have a strong land ethic, and I think a lot of Montanans live here because of the outdoors, the hunting, the fishing, the recreation opportunities, the clean water, the clean air. Those are places that are pretty special to Montanans.